Welcome back to Wizarding Wednesdays live on a Thursday. We're going to have some robust discussions with Mr. Vash Sky. How are you, Vashy?
Actually, I do appreciate the introduction, Wizard. Thank you so much. I'm doing very, very well. Thank you. But we will, as Vader would say, let's see. Do I have it? Do I have it? Maybe not. Maybe I don't have it on tap. I thought I had it on tap. Oh, here it is.
You may dispense with the pleasantries, Commander.
There you go. There you go. We will dispense with the pleasantries really, really fast. Hey, if anybody wants to follow me, you can go do so right down there at Vash Sky. Just go ahead and type that in, and it should pop up for, as Christine Wastelands McCarthy would say, for all the
robust
discussion right there. And if you want to see me, well, it's coming on at times it will be on Wizard's channel, which I love coming on. Thank you so much for having me on, sir. But mostly it's going to be on Orange Grove 55 YouTube channel. So check that in, and it should pop up as well. And that's a good point there, Wizard. My show is on there as well. Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info. Squeezed fresh, right from the Grove.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Bree, yes. Oh, boy. And today we have some great stuff. Hello, Mr. Theme Park Conductor. We are talking some Fast and Furious coaster and some Fast and Furious layoffs. Oh, boy.
Jesus. Yeah. Yes. that is one description, and I think it's an apt description. Interestingly enough, because they are coming fast and furious. We wake up every day now to more layoffs.
There are more and more and more. Goodness, and we still have thousands left to go in 2 more rounds. Can you believe it, Doctor? Can you believe it?
Yeah, and the names are very interesting. The places are very interesting. Not only have we seen divisions get trimmed down, as what happened today with ABC News, for example, right? I believe they had some layoffs there amounting to something like the 50s, I believe it was, the final number on that. ABC News will shrink the size of its executive team in the wake of layoffs ordered by its corporate parent, Walt Disney Company. Yeah, and it's not just like, the guys that you would maybe think would get trimmed. No, these are executives. These are people with big salaries, big pensions, people who have been working there for a long, long time. We see this also. Ike Perlmutter, for example, right? Disney absorbs Marvel Entertainment amid layoffs, dismisses Chairman Ike Perlmutter. Now, if you don't know who Ike Perlmutter is, he was the guy, essentially, that headed all of Marvel at one point, and who Kevin Feige directly reported to, until about 2015 or so, when that arrangement was actually changed, and Bob Iger himself had Kevin Feige report directly to him regarding all things MCU, while Ike Perlmutter retained his role as part of Marvel Entertainment at Disney. So controlling stuff like the merchandise, for example, right? And he was brought on from that original acquisition that occurred around the 20-teens or so. I believe it was 2011, 2012. Is that right, Wizard? When Disney actually acquired Marvel. So that arrangement. That arrangement had been in place for quite some time. Well, when that happened, Ike Perlmutter, he got a little upset, right? And so he took it out on Tom Staggs, who was Iger's, person that he was setting up to be his replacement as CEO. He teams up with, I believe, Lauren Powell Jobs, Steve Jobs' widow, and makes a case to the board that Tom Staggs should not be selected, being that he's a powerful shareholder himself after that Marvel acquisition. That is what ends the prospects for Tom Staggs as CEO at that point. So the fact that they're getting rid of him, also too, very recently, he attempted to mount a takeover of sorts with the Nelson Peltz issues. So now he's gone from working actively at the Walt Disney Company, still a very powerful shareholder. You have now, look at this, Disney cutting jobs off in China. 300 jobs. Employees in Beijing who worked on its streaming services, according to the Wall Street Journal. So they have been cut as well. Speaking of the Wall Street Journal, however, I think the biggest one outside of, and trust me, folks, there are a lot of layoffs involving Hulu, involving Freeform, FX, etc. But I think the biggest one here that concerns us as people who are maybe a fan of the Walt Disney Company and are interested in their products is their kind of next-gen division. It was a division of about 50 people as well, which included the Metaverse and some other things that also got cut. Here, we'll read a little bit, but we'll keep it piffy for you. Headed by Mike White, a former Disney consumer products executive, the division was tasked with finding ways to tell interactive stories in new technological formats using Disney's extensive library of intellectual property, the people said. All the teams, roughly 50 members, had now lost their jobs, the people said. Mr. White remains at the company, although what his role now is unclear. But they weren't just working on Metaverse stuff, which, by the way, I admit that the Metaverse, at least,
about that one?
Well, yeah. So, what Bob Chapek was not very specific on what the Metaverse actually was as part of Disney. Was it kind of almost like a Facebook Meta type Metaverse, or was it a little bit more intangible, right? Was it more of a synergistic flywheel that combined all of the company's corporate efforts together all in one place, and maybe had a presence within Mark Zuckerberg's Metaverse, for example? I think it was more about that than anything else, but it was a little bit unclear. And honestly, a lot of people have said, hey, look, listen, before we get into new frontiers, let's work on the frontier at home. let's work on the land we have right now rather than exploring new things. And I think that's appropriate, especially as the article insists that it was going to be a synergistic effort showcasing their intellectual property. Well, we know, Wizard, that their intellectual properties recently haven't been that strong, right? So it's like we really have to take our resources, the few that we have, and really empower the creative at some of our more distinct and tangible brands or industries that we may be in, for example, rather than getting into another one. But here's the other thing right here too, Wizard. This is the last paragraph here. Mr. White was also involved in an effort last year to design a membership initiative that in some ways resembled Amazon Inc.'s Prime program, which would integrate customer data across multiple Disney platforms, including streaming services Disney Plus, online retail operations, and smartphone apps that visitors use to interact with Disney's theme parks in order to buy food, merchandise, and other products. That one right there, I think, really had a lot of potential, and it's kind of unfortunate that itself, it looks like, will be turned off as well.
That would have been like what, like you get like a, let's say, I don't know, like a card or something, like a Disney Prime card, and you put a whole bunch of money on it and you can use it anywhere. Is that what that was?
Well, I guess in some ways,
like a Disney or like an Amazon account where you can just add money and just use it anywhere, type of thing.
Well, maybe. I think the bigger thing for this Amazon type Prime program was that it was more about a membership, a monthly membership in which you gain access to a whole plethora of Disney services, right? Let's say, we have the bundle right now where we can bundle Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus, right? Imagine that, but broader, to include maybe D23, for example, right? Maybe include theme park admission, for example.
Wow, so it was going to cost like $1,000 a month?
Who knows? I mean, it could be, I mean, it could be something where it's like $79.99 a month, right? Where it's it could be reasonable, right? And depending on where you're located, for example, is maybe how much you paid for as like a base rate that may have include some services, or you can add services on depending on your tier or so. But it was a way to integrate all of these disparate platforms into one kind of package and really kind of leverage the fact that Disney is a lifestyle brand for many people.
Oh, okay. Because when I saw that, I was interested, but I was confused on what that really was. But now that makes sense.
Right.
It would be like a massive Amazon Prime membership.
Yeah.
But with like Amazon Prime, you get to buy stuff, and then you get the video, and you can watch stuff. So yeah, it'll be like that, but a whole bunch of other stuff. Disney stuff.
Exactly. It would be
Disney Prime.
right? So it would include, it would incorporate all kinds of stuff as part of the Walt Disney Company. Yeah, Marty Snyder, not sure D23 is going to be a thing much longer. I do agree with you. Now that you have the firing of, I don't even know how to say his name without saying his name. We didn't get flagged, so I'll just say it. Jeffrey R. Epstein, who was one of the heads of the D23 division. Mm-hmm. If you have somebody like that gone, you do have to wonder how long that is actually going to be sticking around. And right now, D23 was very localized. That was the big problem, right? There was no real reason for anybody outside of Central Florida or Southern California to really, pay a monthly fee to be on the program, especially with the amount of benefits that were offered. They were so localized, right? So if you incorporate D23 or aspects of it into this, and then you expand it out to not only include its very localized services, but maybe Disney's digital services as well, I think that could have been a pretty good value. Also, too,
and also, I'd say the expo, at least the last one,
sure.
If some D23 members may have said that wasn't very worth it, not just because of the whole What If Parks panel, but even a lot of the movie stuff was seemingly like announced beforehand at Comic-Con or just in the weeks before or afterwards, not at the actual expo itself.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. And even some of the projects were announced after the expo, but not at the panel, which is weird. So I don't know if I was a D23 member, I'd be like, wow, why they go into that?
Exactly. Some of those decisions really did kind of, let's say, under prioritize the D23 Expo in a way that I think in a way that a lot of people didn't like, right? And Wizard, I think that's speaking to that sentiment. I think Bob Chapek was a little bit less of a fan of D23 Expo than maybe Bob Iger was. I think Bob Iger is a big fan of D23 Expo. And it's like, why have any of our news or any of our exclusive things be spread out amongst, places like Comic-Con, for example, or these cons and conventions that would take place covering aspects of of the industries that we're in, rather than like a one-stop shop that encompasses all of them, right? I think that's consistent with Iger's vision for D23 Expo in a way that maybe Chapek didn't feel was appropriate. And I think that's why we got definitely some disparate or scattered promotional material in and around the expo, not just limited to it. So that's I think what's going on there. I think an enhanced emphasis will be placed on the expo come 2025 in a way that it wasn't in 2022 or 2024. I'm sorry, I get my years mixed up. usually it's 2 years, and usually it's the oddball. It's the odd year, not the even year. Now it's the even year.
Lockdown. Oh man.
Sure, but this Disney Prime, that was also axed, and I think that part is really unfortunate for me, because I thought there was real potential there. Think about it: Disney Store, D23, Disney Plus, Disney Parks, all together, as like a monthly bundle. I think that could have been really cool. But say, Levy,
that'd be a neat idea. I wonder if they might, they in the future they can come back and do a modified version of it. Maybe.
I think so.
They really liked it, but that's very, very interesting. And which one did Mark Levinstein, Jane Bieber, and Elizabeth Newman as TV production? So this is from their studios.
Yes, yeah. So this would be the Disney TV studios, also including Hulu, Freeform, FX, right? All these guys not necessarily are getting axed, but people around them are getting axed, and so they're being placed in other positions to kind of fill those roles and consolidate those unique divisions even more. So it really is.
I'm surprised they don't just axe the Disney Channel. And then even still watch that thing.
It's a good point. for your viewers out there, Disney has been looking to get out of broadcast media for actually quite some time. I mean, I remember hearing it back 2013 or so. Disney was kind of kicking the tires around what the prospects of getting out of broadcast media as people cut the cord. Not only cable, but your nationally televised things. So it's like, if the Bob Iger's whole thing is you want to be ahead of the curve, not behind it. Remember, he was a weatherman at ABC initially, worked his way up to become a corporate executive there, and he was part of the transition team that was purchased by the Walt Disney Company and brought on via ABC ABC Network, right? And when that actually happened, that was at a point when cable television was just coming online, and they had to radically change their business in order to kind of account for this new kind of technological frontier taking place, right? And so he's very much like, hey, look, listen, change happens in our industry all the time. It's far better to be ahead of that change rather than behind it, right? We can't get married to this idea that things aren't going to change. They are. So what do we do now to embrace those changes rather than having to be reactionary to them or being very behind them? And so that's, I think, one of the reasons why Disney Plus was so intriguing for Bob Iger, for example, right? And so they've ever since like 2013, I'm telling you, folks, they've kind of looked at their broadcast rights and saying, hey, look, listen, can we get rid of some of these assets here while they are still tangible assets with value to them before they're not, right? But ultimately they declined. They thought that they could get a little bit more money by having them stay within the four corners of the Walt Disney Company and have continued on. Well, now there's enhanced pressure to do what they were thinking of doing more than 10 years ago. So, this is a kind of an interesting debate right now within the company. Do you get out now or do you get out later, knowing that these assets simply will not be worth as much if you do get out later? Marty Snyder says, so many new ways to watch sports now. I could see Iger moving on.
That's very true. I mean, you can watch sports anywhere. Your phone. Yeah.
Everything's on the table, I would say. Everything's on the table. Now, they have a lot of these consolidation efforts have happened around ESPN, and I think it's happening for a reason. I do believe that Bob Iger, at least right now, finds value in legacy platforms, including ESPN. So I don't think they're going to do anything with it now. The question is, do they do something with it later? I think Bob Chapek's idea of actually integrating sports betting was actually a smart one, but Iger seems to be adverse to it and hasn't mentioned it again as he's taken the reins as CEO. So I don't think necessarily that's what we're getting. I think the long-term strategy might require employing such methods, because I've heard talk that they want to make ESPN like a TV guide but for sports, which basically if you want to see a particular sports program, right? You can go. You can. I guess they'll have their core channels, but you can go on like the ESPN Plus app, for example, right? And you can see all the listings for sports happening right at that time, and then you can see the affiliated sports networks that have subscriptions, let's say, associated with that sporting event. And then if you sign up through that service, ESPN gets a cut. Do you see how that works?
That's smart. I like that.
It's an interesting idea. Theme Park Lifestyle, what's up? Marty Snyder. NFL is moving to Amazon and Google more. NBA is TNT, etc. ESPN is the recap channel. Also want to give shout out to my brother, Orange Grove 55 up there, who gave us a chat of $1.99.
That's the Northridge Mall. So if anyone wants to go stalk them, go over to Northridge.
Oh, there you go. Fantastic. Much love to my brother's Wizard and Dr. Dre. Thank you so much, OG, for sending in that super chat. That is absolutely amazing. And yes, much love to my brother as well, OG55 out there. And also Theme Park Casual. Cannot forget about Theme Park Casual. Hey, kids, thank you so much for coming in to join us as well, Sapphire Jones.
It's casual. Casual has his own jingle. Ready?
Nope.
It's casual. It's casual. He's so satisfactual. Listen to Theme Park Casual. Boom! Oh, yes. That's his jingle.
Nice. I like that. I'm going to have to get that in recorded form and then play that every single time he makes an appearance.
You better. I've been trying to get him to do it.
Sapphire Jones, I really don't like how Disneyland anymore. It's kind of got ruined for me. It's not the same to me. Sorry, it's how I feel. Yeah, I mean, things changed after the pandemic, let's say, right? Mm-hmm. And Disneyland experience hasn't been, let's say, it hasn't necessarily been consistent with the pre-COVID experience this whole entire time. I know they're working on getting back to that a bit, and there have been improvements in that area, right? But look, if you don't like paying extra for Genie Plus,
or individual lightning lane,
individual lightning lanes, don't expect that to change anytime soon. That's the harsh reality of it. And it's honestly, I mean, we had a form of it before with Max Pass, but Genie Plus's implementation is even worse, surprisingly. And it has been affecting the guest experience. It just has. And I would say if it's still an issue for you, Sapphire, maybe wait a little bit and see what happens, I guess, when they bring other services and so forth back online. I know there's a concerted effort to get as many cast members back as quickly as possible in order to restore some of that magic and luster that the Disney parks used to have. The Steve Rogers show musical, right, going into the Hyperion Studios
or
the Hyperion
musical.
Theater. Yeah, that looks phenomenal. That looks really, really good. We've gotten some talk of some parades coming back, if not this year, then next. So, keep a weather eye out. There should be some things heading on the way. Is it true that Splash Mountain is leaving? Yeah, Wizard, you actually had some information on this, did you?
Yes, in fact, let's go to the website right now. Hold on. Yeah, they seemingly updated their Pardon My Pixie Dust refurbishment thing with oh boy, how do you use the refurbishment thing on the website? Hold on. I'm so used to doing it on the app. Okay. But I'll just go to I think I can just go to the rides. Let's see. How do I get to the rides and attractions? Why is this website so confusing? There's like too many options. Hold on. Alright. Impromptu poll. Who is confused by the Disneyland website? Comment below.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, the Disneyland website. It's funny because it's based on the Walt Disney World website, which, by the way, showed up. It's interesting where this showed up. It showed up in some kind of, I guess, web portal construction school or class as part of a school, and it was used as an example of horrific. Of a horrific website that nobody should actually emulate, and has so many things wrong with it that it was a demonstration on how not to make a website. Apparently, there's a host of cookies that are collected by Disney whenever you actually log on to the Walt Disney World or Disneyland websites. They're very difficult to navigate. There are so many processes happening in the background that it makes the entire service bogged down, slow. It's not very reliable, obviously, and as us Disney fans have known for a long, long time now, it's a disaster. So I hope that Disney addresses these IT issues sometime in the near future, because it's now becoming a big issue, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. It took like 10 minutes to find it, but I finally found it. It was there, which is very small text. There's under things to do, where I thought it was, but there's so many things to do, it was very hard to find. But under attraction and entertainment, you go to Splash Mountain, and then this popped up recently, I guess, in the past day or two. An exciting refresh is coming soon. Splash Mountain will undergo a transformation and will reopen in late 2024 as Tiana's Bayou Adventure, a whimsical attraction inspired by the Princess and the Frog. Learn more. Then you, guess you can't learn more because.
Oh man, we were just talking about this.
Well, I guess we won't learn more.
Hey,
but,
folks, a demonstration in the unreliability of Disneyland.com here live with Theme Park Wizard. Oh, my goodness gracious.
But yes, looks like Sapphire Drones. It is leaving soon for an exciting transformation. We don't know what it is. Not even the Disneyland website knows what it's going to be. Won't be surprised. Exactly. Woohoo! Wow.
Exactly.
Oh, that was actually pretty funny.
And it was, right? I mean, that's what that class was talking about. I had to get information more on that. But it was, if you've ever tried to get, let's say you want to get like first access or first dibs on Oogie Boogie Bash tickets, for example, right? We know the headaches involved in these kinds of online processes.
Yeah,
it's terrible. It's terrible.
Like that's pretty bad. Sean says, Disney would ever do this, but what if Disney reskin the other Bugs Land attractions and put them in Pixar? Oh, like the ones that are, I don't even know where the like the
what was
time
it?
The choo train and the they shouldn't reskin the bumper cars though. Those are very, very slow. But Heimlich's, I like Heimlich's. He's cool.
Yeah, Heimlich's was definitely, I think, the high point in that land, and people have fond memories of that. I believe they had a Ladybug spinner as well, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It was like
the bumper cars.
Was it the spinner and the bumper cars, or was it Ladybug bumper cars?
Yeah, so there was 4 attractions, right? There was 4 attractions in Bugs Land. So you had Bugs Land attractions. It was Heimlich's Choo Choo Train. Choo choo as in chewing it. Let's see here. Oh, Flix Flyers. Yep, and that's what Emotional Whirlwind is today. Heimlich's Choo Choo Train. France's Ladybug Boogie. That's what I was talking about right there. Guest boarded one of the 6 Francis Ladybugs with up to 6 adults and children around each bug. The ride spun guests around in a figure 8 style. So yeah.
How long was that day? How come I feel like I've never seen that one before?
How haven't you done this?
I don't know. Was it so tucked away that I've never?
Yeah, the tuck and roll drive on buggies.
See, that's what I'm thinking of. Wow, what is Francis Let me see.
That's the bumper car.
Francis Ladybug Boogie. What does this look like? Hold on. Let's see. Oh, this thing!
Yeah.
Oh my God! I don't even remember this thing.
Yeah. That was actually going to be used for Mary Poppins. They were just going to, redo that. No, I'm joking, guys. That was not the plan. But that's an interesting idea. If these things weren't actually destroyed, then yeah, I am open and receptive to the idea that they would reuse them. Unfortunately, I believe all of these things have been destroyed outside of a few remaining pieces. But do you have Francis Ladybug Boogie?
Oh yes, let me put it back. But I'd be down for Heimlich to come back as a hey, whatchamacallit? Gadgets Go coaster style roller coaster for the children. That'd be cool. That'd be nice.
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, there it is.
That's it. Yeah. So it was like a little teacups.
Tell me why every single time I went to Bugs Land, I barely noticed this thing. Maybe one time. I don't know why. I noticed the other 3, but I just didn't even notice this one. Really, that's crazy. I completely forgot about it. Wow, that's mind blowing.
It's crazy, right? Crazy. Yeah. So, and I think didn't this use a similar mechanism? This specific version use a similar mechanism to what they use now for Mater Shunko Jamboree? I thought it did, maybe. Anyway, look. So doesn't matter. It's long in history. I do I wish they could have used more of Bugs Land's infrastructure, but it looks like we're only going to get Flick Flyers. So that is that. I saw Marty Snyder put up something that I thought was pretty interesting. He says right here, dropping resolution. Yeah, there we go.
Dropping Monday is the drop. Park hopping time and cancel penalty and reservation are still available today. The three things I would change. Yeah, those are great options. Wow.
Yeah.
Especially the penalty thing. That's a thing. Crazy.
Recently.
Yeah, dropping reservations Monday, Thursday would be great. Come on, Marty. Work for Disney.
Recently, it was seen that Thursday was actually more popular than Friday and Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about these things is every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? And things happen in a way that maybe weren't anticipated before you actually implemented those changes. So if you take off reservations for Monday and Thursday, then yeah, you will get an easing of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But now your Monday through Thursdays, even now they're very busy, they would become ridiculously busy, right? And I think Disney would want to avoid that, especially with the annual pass holder population being what it is, right? We know that at least, I think it's like 250,000 or so, at least are on the annual passport system, and everybody's looking to go to the the happiest place on earth. So how do you control that without it becoming a madhouse? I've always said, hey, listen, why? We used to have caps on these things. Why not implement those caps? Why not say, hey, look, you got to get down there early, otherwise you just don't get in. That's an idea. I think that's worth exploring. But I think the Disney company really likes this kind of, there's a term for it. It's
yield management.
Yield management, yes, but this artificial scarcity. Right.
Oh yeah. They love those, especially with those popcorn buckets.
Exactly right. But they use artificial scarcity even with the reservation system, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, you better get on now, otherwise it's gonna get eaten up. It's gonna get and that enhances demand. Let's say on the parks product itself, and the reservation system is a key strategy for them. I feel so. Yeah, the cancel penalty with reservation when reservations are still available on that day could that's an interesting idea. I've always been not a fan of how it kicks in, like you have to cancel before, was it midnight, or have they moved?
Yeah, before midnight. Yeah, before midnight.
Why
which sucks because, for example, OG, right? We're all gonna go to Disney right that one day after Super Nintendo World, right?
Right.
And he was just fine, or seemed just fine when we dropped him off, and you guys were heading down to Anaheim. And of course, next morning, he woke up sick. Now, of course, he hasn't passed, but with someone else, what if you just wake up sick and this next, in the morning, you feel fine the day before, and you just wake up sick, then you're penalized. That's mean.
Yeah. It's. I took 2 strikes because my son woke up.
That too. Yeah, what if your kid wakes up sick?
I know. I don't like that. Look, you should be able to cancel, I think, noon. I think by noon you know whether or not you're going to do it. And that way it gives a little bit of time.
Yeah, because everyone's up. If someone wakes up sick,
right?
Then you just cancel. Oh, sorry, I can't go today.
And then a lot of people are looking for reservations, to go at 6 o'clock, right? So it's I think noon. I think whether or not you're going to go or not, and I think that's when it should be the time, because you can't have it past 6 or whatever, or
yeah,
you can't have it all day.
Noon's perfect because that's still enough time. If someone wants to snag a reservation, they can have stuff 12 hours to enjoy it if they snag it right at noon.
Right,
someone else can't.
12 hours is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty, especially likely that person will be an annual pass or Magic Keyboard, so they're not probably not going to stay all 12 hours anyway. But yeah, sure. That's still a decent amount of time to go to both parks, do whatever you got to do, and leave.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's pretty good. That was basically Flex Pass, no resis, Monday through Friday, 50%. Yeah, all weekends. Yeah. now everything's flex pass, and that changes the dynamic even further. How are you, theme park wizard Kevin? Theme park adventure. How are you, wizard? How are you doing?
Amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Like, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Pretty gnarly thunderstorm just came up today. I was driving to work and it was pretty amazing. Great. Let me tell you guys really quickly. There was hailing so much on my car, I couldn't see, and I thought maybe the window would crack. But there's like gnarly hail just coming on my window as on the field. Wow. You would have been blown away, Dr. Dre. Blown away.
Oh, sounds like I would have been. Not unlike the the storm that we all faced when going to Universal this last time. That was a lot of fun.
We almost blew away.
But now,
I heard that. Wow. Look at all those words.
Waterworld goes. Born Spectacular Sun Show replaces it. Wizard, what have you heard on this?
Let's see. We have to see. Gosh, unfortunately, whatchamacallit, the person I asked for this also got banned on Twitter. I don't know why.
Oh no!
So, we will have to see.
Okay. Oh no, Elon! Come on, what are you doing, buddy? You said no bans. Wizard's still banned.
Still banned. The other person banned. I'm like, why haven't I heard from this guy in a while? I went over and then the message wouldn't send. And I was looking at him and I'm like, this person's permanently banned. I'm like, huh? Oh, man. But now, yeah, we'll have to see come this summertime with Waterworld. I still really like that show, though. Also come this summertime, boy, you'll definitely see a coaster being built at 2 shows that did close and still remain closed today. And in fact, oh look, we just got here. Look, see, this is why I'm glad we're doing this second, because I know everyone's gonna come and ask
Gives
about
people
that.
a chance to come in, right?
That's right, you know. You should see Waterworld, even if you have to watch it on YouTube. It's a very good show.
Yeah, watch it. It's very good.
But let's see. Going over to let me invite share screen. It's our good pal, Mr. Exploring Attractions here. He was at Universal, and they've been doing it all week, and I'll be there tomorrow, so we'll see if they'll do it. But they're doing some sound testing for the Fast and the Furious Ghost. So they put some rigs on top of the special effects stage here.
Ooh, interesting.
And they're actually playing sounds, actual recorded sounds from the Velocicoaster, and seeing how far people can hear them. So let's see if you guys can hear. Hold on. Did you hear it?
I saw this, and I was pretty impressed with the ingenuity here. Because it is a big concern. Obviously, there are other residents around Universal Studios Hollywood. You're looking for, how sound will disrupt not only the areas around Universal Studios Hollywood, but also Nintendo World, Super Nintendo World, for example, or Transformers, or any of those kind of things. This was a good way of actually doing this. Very ingenious. I've not seen this implemented at any other park before. Perhaps I'm unfamiliar with this process, but I think this was pretty cool. Ethan, your thoughts?
I knew it. Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, I've never heard a sound test before, and it was funny. Someone overlaid the sound with a sound from Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. And it got me to play the game last night. I was like, oh my gosh, I missed that game. But that was super cool. I was like, wow, that's smart. And then I asked one of my buddies who went there and heard it for himself. And he said he can only hear the sound from the first escalator and in Springfield, but nowhere else, which I guess is pretty good. It's probably what they're looking for.
Yeah,
nice small area. And Springfield obviously is right there, but you didn't even say all of Springfield. Say just the part where the game's closest to the escalator. That's the only part you can hear it from, and the escalator, but not even the second one or close to the second one. It's a pretty good screen profile. Which is
as roller coaster technology develops, I know like B&M, I think they were one of the first to put sand in their track, right? In order to dampen sound, at least they were one of the first, and I think other roller coaster manufacturers have actually implemented a similar procedure, and now with manufacturing techniques being what they are, getting exact in specification, if you can reduce that friction, if you can reduce the drag and some of these other things that actually create noise, well, you do allow for designs that aren't necessarily as loud as they were even 10 years ago. It's pretty remarkable. So what we're hearing there sounds about right. Simpsons area, first escalator, I think that's where they would want to limit that. And as long as it doesn't radiate out to any places that wouldn't necessarily be ideal, like the nearby golf course, I think they're going to be okay.
Oh yeah, which is pretty good. And today, actually, you see on this LA County Building Permit Viewer filed, you see, 3:30 today. Universal filed something here. Very interesting. Now you tell me what you think.
Okay.
Temporary ventilation equipment at lower level of ET Garage Building 65654. 6 weeks. Now, so everyone, that just may sound like a simple thing, and yeah, it is a simple thing, but very interesting because that is the staging location where they stage all the Super Nintendo World stuff.
Right.
So my friend and I thought maybe they're doing some work or prepping it right to get ready for track pieces or some sort of something
That's
like
kind of
that.
what it sounds like.
Right. And 6 weeks, and maybe it'll take 6 weeks to do whatever they gotta do, and then after 6 weeks, it'll be ready for again the arrival of track pieces. With these tests going on, maybe they're getting ready. What do you think, Dr. Dre?
I think it's a pretty safe assumption. There's still a demo period that needs to take place, and then a site prep. But so when was that scheduled?
So
they just filed it today.
Yeah, this permit was filed today, the temporary ventilation, and whenever it gets issued, it'll be 6 weeks after that. For 6 weeks, that it gets issued.
So you could start taking in track pieces. Let's say, we know that there's stuff maybe coming from Germany and some other places. We know that's going to be Intamin, right?
Yes.
Based out around there. If they start coming in, they're going to need a place to set them before that demolition process and site prep can actually take place. I think it's a pretty safe bet that they would want some area in which to lay these pieces near the site at. I think you're onto something, Wizard. I think this is it. And
it's also notes that the other staging area they have, which is a big open parking lot by the 101 freeway, is being used as a model piece for the NBC Universal Campus thing. There's like a big model, like the DVC tower. They had that model test facade sitting there. It's a giant one sitting off the freeway, and that's their other staging spot, which is being used. So maybe that, and obviously they probably don't care about hiding that, but I'm sure they would be much more secretive about coaster pieces. So I'm sure they don't want to have them right in the open like that, versus just a building, which they know people are not in a frenzy to find out more information about. That's interesting. Marty Snyder has two messages for us. Not said to do sound testing back in the day for Pony Express with its impact on Western Avenue. They added a sound tunnel to it on that corner. Yeah, that makes sense. that makes a lot of sense. I know they also added a Ghost Rider. They probably
Ghost Rider on that first lift hill, right? Yeah, they added a sound. Some sound damping as well there. If that Fast and Furious roller coaster goes down the hill. It's not too far from the New York set. Very astute. Yes, we are talking about an active film studio. So yes, you would want to have maybe a sound barrier of sorts between your active film production. Obviously, is something that would be impacted by sound, and your great new coaster. So definitely testing for all of those things. If it's staying within the area of just like the first escalator ramp or what did you say, Simpsons? That's pretty good right there. But he's right though; it is close to a lot of those facilities.
Yeah, no, from what I've heard, there have plans to build, what was it, some sort of wall or show scene that incorporates a tunnel in that area. So it would eliminate any studio noise. So it's like when you go down, you go around the Simpsons, there's like some kind of show scene or something where you'd be inside, or a set where you'll be blocking. There'll be something that bounces noise back as it zooms back up the hill.
Oh, I like that.
Part of the theming to the attraction.
Now, it's not going to be like, I don't know, Jack, right? Those sound tunnels, it might be a little bit more sophisticated.
Oh, yeah, no, it would be like a well themed environment. Whatever would be fit into the story of whatever's happening there.
I see. Yeah, there's so much storytelling potential when it comes to Toretto and the family there, isn't there? Should be fun.
It's all about the family.
Yeah, it's all about the family. Great storytelling opportunities, I'm sure.
Yeah, about as much storytelling. It has more storytelling potential than Harry Potter.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I don't think so. But Fast and Furious wishes no. But it's very interesting.
But that is because Hagrid's is too big. What Hagrid? Wait, I'm sorry. So really about that high hopes the Hagrid. Oh, the Hagrid coaster. I missed the part. Oh, it could fit in that other little section if they wanted to. Depends on what they're doing there. Very interesting.
Yeah. What happens to the DreamWorks Theater? That's an interesting question. And then beyond that,
yeah, because so the Nope, the Nope sets. It's interesting because there's a permit file right here. Oh, let me stop right here. That suggests, well, I guess it doesn't suggest too much, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Here it is. Let's see. Here it is. Construction of accessible path of travel from Psycho War to the world of Nope. So they want to build, a pedestrian path to Nope, which is very interesting.
Or is it?
It says accessible path of travel. Oh, I know. What? I guess we can take. What does that mean? Do you think
it could be a construction umbilicus?
That could be. You're right. Because I'm like, interesting. Like people are like, is this path like for humans? If it's for humans, does that mean Nope's around a little longer? I don't know. But yeah, if it's not for humans or for people, for guests, then it could just be. It'll be nothing. But yeah, very interesting to see what this path will be.
We've been hearing some rumors surrounding the Nope sets, surrounding nearby Fast and Furious, all that kind of stuff. There are definitely some changes. I mean, they're filing these permits for a reason. It could be Halloween Horror Nights related, but I don't think so. I think there are long-term plans that Universal has that they're. This is a reflection of those plans.
Yeah, because this one again, got on 310 just a couple of weeks ago. So we'll have to see what's happening over there with the Nope, with the with this. Well, I'm take a look in the Curious George park. As soon as this permit gets issued, I'm gonna take a look in the Curious George parking lot or ET1 myself, because it was pretty cool to see the Nintendo stuff stored down there, and I feel like that's where the track will be, especially because maybe they're doing work because track is obviously bigger than Nintendo pieces, right? Because they're kind of just small.
Yeah.
So maybe the work, right, is to expand the staging area, right, and maybe to cover some more parking space, and maybe take away a parking stall. Because first you can drive by it now because it's kind of not, it's wide but kind of narrow. I feel like track pieces are pretty big. Maybe they want to expand that staging area, and that's what this work maybe to do.
Could be because you're talking about, and you're talking about spans of track that go from anywhere from maybe, I would say 10 feet to 30 feet. I mean, these things are sizable. So yeah, Wizard, I think you're correct. I mean, if they're, and the reason I think why you would dedicate maybe more space to it is maybe, you're going to have these pieces for quite a while. They're going to be stacked up, they're not going to hit the site.
They're all, different all shapes and sizes. There's going to be curves and be inversions. There's going to be wacky things. So definitely need more space. I mean, just you can go look at the Epic Universe track staging. That covers entire parking lots with those coasters did. So, I'm very interested. I'll have to go check on this work and report back to everybody.
Absolutely. 100%.
Something's happening. Something's happening, Dr. Dre.
Something's happening.
We don't know. We'll keep our eyes open.
Keep a weather eye out there, for sure. There's something's on the horizon, that is for sure.
And we'll have to see what it is. And for that, all you can subscribe, or else you'll be missing out. Won't they, Dr. Dre?
Absolutely they will. They'll be missing out on all kinds of updates from the theme park wizard and all things Universal and Disney. And I'm sure you cover some other things that I'm not mentioning right now, but Six Flags and everything. You wanna keep your eyes tuned to this channel, because I'm sure Wizard will have many updates as time goes on, and I will be around for many of them, I'm sure. Which you can find me at Vash Sky right down there. Just go ahead, type it in, and it should pop up for all the
robust
discussion on Twitter. And if you want to see me, well, it's going to be yes, on Theme Park Wizards channel, but I'll also be at Orange Grove 55 on YouTube as well, where my show exists, Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info, squeezed fresh, right from the Grove. And because it's Universal, well, we got to do it.
And don't forget to subscribe very soon to his channel, because there's a very important shareholdings meeting on Monday, this Monday, and you bet the OG crew will be talking about it. So push that subscribe button right now. To answer your question, Sean, certainly by the summertime. And as always, have a super fast day.